Hello everybody and welcome to my video review of the Keydous NJ80 mechanical keyboard. So this review is going to come from mainly a user perspective, I'm not someone who builds keyboards or mods them really, just a user. So it's going to come from that angle. I've had it for about a month, so I think I have a lot of the in and outs of how this keyboard functions for a straight user. So I'm going to go into some pros and cons, and then just my overall thoughts about this keyboard. Let's get started. So let's start from a packaging perspective. This is the box it came in. Unfortunately, if you can see, it's a little banged up. So this was me. I think I ripped it. But these corners, it came in like this. I bought this keyboard from AliExpress, and it came in about a month, maybe a little longer. And I bought it for 200 something Canadian dollars. I'll put the price right here. So there was a lot of bubble wrap. Unfortunately, it didn't help the box, but the keyboard and all the accessories seem to be fine, so that's all right. A little disappointing about the box, but that's okay. So let's talk about those accessories. It comes with a wireless dongle built into the keyboard. Well, there's storage built in. So right here, that's how it will come. And so you can put that dongle in and take the keyboard as well as the dongle anywhere. Let me take it back out. And it's very small, like those nano receivers from Logitech. And that's for the 2.4 gigahertz. Ooh, turn it on. In terms of other accessories, it comes with a USB Type-C to Type-A cable. This is actually a con, so I will go into it in a bit. But it's a very basic cable. It also comes with a keycap puller. So, and it works fine, but I do think I like the Philco one a little better just because it ends up a little more narrow and it's easier to go in versus how it's split up like this. But it works fine. And then also it comes with a key switch puller because this keyboard is hot swap, so you can pull out the key switches. Let's go into build quality now. Overall, it feels really good on the exterior. It's mostly made out of plastic, but it is quite hefty, so it's heavier than the Magic Touch 2 from the last review. But there are some things that I think to take note of. I feel like the plastic bits of these feet, I feel like I can feel it coming off sometimes just when I'm handling the keyboard. Usually it's on a desk, so you shouldn't handle it like this, but just be aware of that. And the plastic is quite nice, but I've seen some videos of people who are modders and who do open up their keyboards, and they do seem to have some concerns and feel like that the inside of the keyboard isn't built that great. So for me, I'm just a basic user who just wants to type, and it works fine. I think the knob is metal actually, so that's a nice plus. But overall, I do enjoy typing on it, and I feel like the build quality exterior-wise is a pro. In terms of my configuration, I have the brass backplate. If you can see the little bronze color coming through, I guess. And the key switches I have is the Gateron Yellow Pros. So it's a little cheaper than some of the other options. I think they have some TTC ones available as well. And Kale ones are even cheaper. But I think the Gateron Yellow Pros is a happy medium. And so I'm quite happy with that. So let's go into the pros because I think the switches and the sound is definitely a pro. So that's the first pro. But I'll show you a sound test at the end of the video. In terms of the other pros, it is the feature set. So it comes with a lot of wireless connections, as well as the backlight is another pro. So 3 pros in total. Default sound for people who don't mod or build keyboards on the regular, backlighting, and then the feature set of the wireless connectivity. I'll go in reverse order. So let's go into wireless connectivity first. So to turn on this keyboard, there's a little switch in the back, off, on, so you can turn it on, and it'll remember what device you were trying to connect to last. I'm also going to plug in the dongle because it will scream at me, and I've had to restart my video a few times for that. Alright, so as you can see, it was a blue light, FN. You can switch with FN 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1 to 3, they're all blue because they are Bluetooth. FN4 is the wireless dongle, and it should show up green. Did it not work? There it is. And then FN5 is the wired mode if you have it plugged in. So I've had really good connection with all of them. 2.4, I haven't actually used it wired just because it's really convenient. 2.4 gigahertz, I haven't had any drops at all. I have a lot of wireless devices, so it works fine. In Bluetooth mode, I've had it drop once. I just had to reconnect, press FN1 again. For it to go, I pressed the control key to have it connect to Bluetooth again, and it works. There's no double tapping or ghost letters coming out, so that's great. And overall, the connections have been pretty solid. It also connects very quickly, more quickly than the Magic Touch 2 TKL. And I think it might be because this is Bluetooth 5.0, while that one's Bluetooth 3 point something, so that one's quite old. So overall, the wireless connection is definitely a pro. So let's make sure I'm on Bluetooth again, because I don't want it messing up with my system right now while I'm recording. But the second pro is the backlight. So to turn that on, it's FN backspace. So there are different modes. Usually the default is, it threw me off a little bit because there are so many different modes. FN backslash switches the backlighting modes. You can have it do spasm stuff that I don't really particularly like. Sine wave, this is pretty cool, coming from the middle, but the default, I want to go back to the default, and it is a rainbow puke flow from left to right. So let's see. There it is. So that's how it comes default. All these FN shortcuts, they have a little sheet here for instructions that comes with the keyboard. It works, but it's a piece of paper trash. So some Redditors have made some really nice guides, PDF guides, and you can see them. You can see them and download them. I'll put the link in the description below. You can do so. It'll tell you all the hotkeys. FN enter. You can cycle through all the colors. Green, red, green, blue. This is pink. It doesn't really show up very pinky when I top down like that. Orange, aqua, the white. That's a pretty good looking white. Sometimes it's a white LED. RGB LEDs can mess up white. I think this one actually looks decent. And then rainbow puke again. So you can do all that. And so the backlighting is definitely a pro. These are south-facing switches, so the LED is on the bottom. So if you buy keycaps where the top, it turns off. Now the timer, the sleep timer, this is a con. I'll go into that. But if you have see-through keycaps, you might not like that the LED is coming from the bottom. So that might be a concern of yours. But overall, I think this is fine. And south-facing switches and LEDs are fine for certain people who like to customize their keyboards, because I believe there are some issues with certain keycaps, cherry profile keycaps, that might mess up if they're not south-facing. So these are the keycaps that come with it are die sub PBT keycaps, I believe, cherry profile, and they look great. It's an off-white color. I thought it'd be more white. Oops, I hit my camera. But this is a more of an off-white color and cream kind of color. But it still looks great. So I quite like that. So the backlight is definitely a pro. And then the third is the default sound. For a pre-built keyboard, I think it blows stuff out of the water compared to like big brand Razer, Logitech, etc. So let's go into the sound test and have you have a listen. All right, I think you get the idea, and it sounds a lot better than the Philco too. If you check out my short, I think it's because of the switches. The Gateron Yellow Pros, I believe, are pre-lubed, and also there, if you look at the some people who have opened up the keyboard, there is a little bit of foam in the back, so it helps with I think it's case ping, I guess. So the sound is pretty decent for a pre-built. But now let's go into the cons, and there are some cons. So let's go back into what I said before with regarding the cable. The second con is the sleep timer for the keyboard. So according to the instructions, there are 3 sleep intervals for the sleep timer. The first one I believe is 2 minutes, then it's 30 minutes, and then it'll never turn off. And it's called a backlight timer, but it really puts the whole keyboard to sleep. And I know that because once it goes to sleep, the volume knob does not work. You have to press some other key on the keyboard. I like to use the function key because if you just press it, it doesn't affect anything. Then you can use the keyboard again, the knob again. So going back to the timing intervals, let's turn it on. Okay, so you press FN tab, and the caps lock key will indicate what mode it's in, what interval it's in. The 2 blinking you saw, that means it's in the 30-minute sleep interval. If if it's 3 times, it should mean it'll never turn off. And if it blinks once, I pressed the wrong thing. If it blinks once, it means it's a 2-minute interval. So 2 minutes, I think, is too short of a time, and interferes with the knob capabilities quite often for me. 30 minutes is okay, but the battery goes down the drain a lot faster. And I can't actually even get the third mode to work. I've never seen it blink 3 times. It's always just twice or once. So I don't know if that's a bug with my keyboard. I wasn't going to have it in that mode ever anyways, so it's not a big deal, but that's something you need to be aware of, and the knob not working when it goes to sleep. So that's a concern. And also the instructions, by the way, yeah, another part is that it tells you that you can go fast forward FN, F10, and F9 to go, I think it's skip track and backtrack, go back a track. But it doesn't tell you that you can actually pause with FN, F8. So that's a little tip I found out. It works on my keyboard. I don't know if this is a newer one or not. I thought, and it's a nice tidbit to have because for the knob, pressing down is only mute. You can't change it to play pause or whatever. So That's something to keep in mind with as well. And then the third con is really there's no software. There is software in Chinese, I think. I downloaded it. It was stuck at searching for device, so I couldn't comment on how well it works. It couldn't find my keyboard. So I'm gonna say the software doesn't exist. You have to have that expectation. So but with all the modes and all the colors that you can change on the keyboard itself, it's not a big deal for me either. I don't like to run run some software just for a keyboard anyways, so that's fine for me. And overall, I think it is a very good keyboard, just because of how of the default sound, profile, all the wireless connection options, and the backlight looks good if you keep it on. So battery wise, if I keep the 2-minute sleep interval, I charge it about once every 2 weeks, and I use it 8 hours a day for work, and then gaming, watching, leisure computing in the after work. So I'm guessing I'm using it for 12 hours, but it goes to sleep so quickly that that does save battery life, the 2-minute interval. Once I go 30 minutes, I think I'm charging it. It will give me the warning. So this will light up red, F12. It'll give me the warning of low battery, I think in 3 days. So yeah, overall, it's pretty good. I really enjoy it just because it sounds a lot better, and I'm not a huge tinkerer. I might be in the future, but for now, this is a good starting point. In terms of other keyboards that I was looking at that function similarly, iQnix has them. I've been seeing a lot of their videos and YouTubers with videos of those ones, and they do sound great. They don't have a knob though on some of the models, so I was looking in particular the L80 formula, and they have co-star stabilizers. These ones have I don't know what they are, but the cherry ones, the cross ones. So here you can see it, but it's so that's another good thing. I know the later iQnix ones has the cherry ones as well, but the older ones that are more feature parity to this, I think don't have the co-star ones. So overall, I really do enjoy this keyboard. It's my daily driver, and I hope this video helps you with your purchasing decision. If you're just a user like me, maybe you want to tinker in the future, this keyboard can give you those options because you can hot swap and do a lot of things. It's just difficult, from what I can tell from people opening this up. It's difficult. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully this helps you out, and thanks for watching.